outfits in the whole of the UK who can do what the Carpenter's Arms have done for me.
Yeah, I feel like they're part of my family because I don't have no family around.
Alcohol and drugs, I hate them.
They work absolutely miracles here, and how they do it I just don't know, but I just wish there was more places like this around.
And if we've got a vision and we aim for it and always look forward, we can obtain it. So that's what I'm keeping a positive mind about.
I feel inside that I don't want the drugs no more, you know. I'm 40 years old now.
And it's just been the best place I've ever been, and that they've done so much for me when we walk with God.
If you've never been at rock bottom, not only will you have problems understanding the testimonies in this film, you may also have difficulty having empathy for the people this film is about. How many of us have never made a mistake in our lives? How many of us have never taken a wrong turning? Quite often, when the wrong turning has been taken, it can be very difficult to make the 180-degree turn back. Most of the young men we will see in this film either have made or are in the process of making that turn. The Carpenter's Arms used to be called the Corporation Hotel. It is a large period building situated not far from Loughborough town centre. In 2003, it was bought by a Christian charity, Homes for the Homeless, and became a homeless hostel. In 2008, the trustees and directors decided to change the use to a rehabilitation centre.
The Carpenter's Arms is a Christian organisation. It proclaims the values of Christianity, and it demonstrates them practically, demonstrates what Christian love is. You know, not easy, but caring, but tough sometimes, setting standards and making demands.
There are 12 single rooms upstairs, each furnished with a wash basin, bed, wardrobe and chair. Downstairs there is a dining room and a communal area comprising a lounge with TV and pool table. Residents are expected to take responsibility for their own day-to-day care, such as doing their own washing and ironing. Other duties such as house maintenance and gardening are expected also. 3 meals a day are provided at Carpenter's Arms. All meals are eaten in the communal dining room. A well-balanced diet is provided, as this is essential to detoxification and rehabilitation.
What we use is the government's healthy eating guideline. In association with that, we always try and give them very healthy meals. We provide healthy meals for them. Whether they eat them or not is a different matter, and that's entirely up to them, and we will advise them, but we can't force them to eat. So there'll always be vegetables. There'll be one main meal a day will have a good amount of protein, a good amount of vegetables and a good amount of carbohydrates. More like salad and tuna, or maybe pasta with a tomato sauce. And then their third meal, of course, is their breakfast. They could have toast with spreads, they could have some leftovers from the night before, they could have cereals, and fruit should be available throughout the day.
The hostel is for men challenged by drug and alcohol addiction, which often leads to homelessness, relationship and financial ruin, and criminal offending.
About 14, 13 years old when I started smoking weed and taking amphetamines and stuff, and that led to me doing a lot of crime and falling out with my mum and getting kicked out by the time I was 16.
On arrival at Carpenter's Arms, residents are individually assessed by a key worker. A plan is arranged in preparation for independent living and employment. The programme is carried out in several key phases. Settling phase. This gives residents the opportunity to become accustomed to a disciplined and structured environment. An established resident will be on hand to help the newcomer to settle in, showing him the ropes regarding household routine and so on. To help residents with muscular aches and pains that come from detoxification, we have a hot tub which is greatly appreciated. If necessary, new residents will be taken through a detox programme recommended by a specialist doctor who works alongside the staff.
Coming off drugs, dealing with drugs and alcohol issues takes an enormous amount of motivation. People need fairly intensive psychological and social support in order to succeed, and the Carpenter's Arms provides a therapeutic community in which that psychological and social support is given. And more than that, actually, the residents here support each other, so it's mutually supportive and self-sustaining in that way.
Restoring phase. This enables residents to identify and begin to deal with underlying problems. They can expect to see change in their attitude through putting into practice things learnt in morning sessions and one-to-one counselling. Physical activity through work parties, gym, etc. will be built up. Individuals may find themselves managing teams, doing work parties, helping new residents, etc., and may also spend time working more actively on their CVs, life skills and training in various back-to-job modules in preparation for moving on. The establishing phase. This gives the residents space to take responsibility for themselves and learn to make positive choices. Plans are afoot to purchase a property which a staff member and 3 residents can move into. In the meantime, we are assisting residents to find suitable move-up accommodation whilst maintaining the support structure which they will need for at least a year after leaving Carpenter's Arms. Move-on phase. When clients are ready, we will assist in planned move-on and we will cooperate with other agencies to achieve the most suitable outcome for the individual. For at least 1 year after completion of the programme, 412 Ministries plans to give graduates ongoing support from our resettlement workers. This includes home visits, weekends spent at Carpenter's Arms, regular meetings and social trips, as well as the opportunity to continue one-to-one counselling.
Your finances, you're managing them?
I've signed off for income support.
Right.
I've gone on to job seekers so I can find work.
Wonderful, good.
The daily routine includes work sessions, work party, free time and evening sessions. These sessions consist of anger management, breaking a destructive lifestyle, handling responsibility and managing relationships.
Suffered with my temper, my anger, and that's a big thing here.
What actually leads to a life of addiction?
One young man whose face is very clearly in my mind now, he told me over and over again, it was to block out the pain. And some of the circumstances he went through as a youngster were horrific. And he found that drugs blocked out the pain. If they can't cope with it at that stage, they'll look around for a coping mechanism, and drugs or alcohol might be that.
People from various walks of life offer their assistance to the Carpenter's Arms project, either in a professional or voluntary capacity.
And I actually got involved with Dr. Peter Cannon coming up now for about 2 years, and we actually felt that this was a real good project to help this end of society, because unfortunately, as much as we don't think it's there, it is there as part of life today.
I've lived in this area for 10 years, and but it's taken something like this for me to really get in contact with local people. So it's been a real bridge for the community, I think, and has brought people together. And it's been a great privilege to be involved.
Does blame for addiction actually lie elsewhere, or can the addict actually shoulder some of the responsibility?
You have to say at the end of the day that the addict or alcoholic made the choice to pick up the bottle or to pick up the drugs. It's their choice, but we try and find out why they picked it up.
Due to my personal problems, not having family out here, being deported, getting lonely, bored, and basically start going out there drinking, trying to get into a relationship, and things just start going downhill.
And it was just an absolute nightmare for me. I kept on trying to get my life on track, and it just never seemed to work.
How does recovery begin? Is abstinence the key criterion?
Drugs are not the issue. Alcohol is not the issue. Gambling and whatever else it is, that's not the issue. It's to do with an addictive personality that's in a person. And that's the thing that has got to be dealt with. The addictive personality is not flesh and blood, it's the brain, it's the thinking, it's the soul. It's not just about abstinence. It's all the areas of their life that are being damaged. We've got to try and see them healed.
Are there any success stories that inspire any encouragement?
One chap here, he's enjoying the gym now. They go to gym 3 times a week. In the beginning, he really kicked up against going to the gym. Now he's really happy about it. He's loving it. After a while, he said to me, he says, "I'm really enjoying this, and this is such a new life." When he came here in the beginning, he was counting literally the hours that he had come off his abusive substance. He's now saying, "Man, how many weeks is it now?" Do you know what I mean?
Well, wonders for me. I came in here just over 8.5 stone. I'm 12 stone now. I mean, I don't know if you've seen my picture out there. It's on the wall out there. You just can't look. So you see the state I was when I came in here.
As far as I'm concerned with this organization, I have seen about 70-80% success rate. Most of the person who is attending this organization, they do change their life.
Looking down an imaginary tunnel, which could be your future, give us some indication of what you see at the end of it.
If we've got a vision and we aim for it and always look forward, we can obtain it. So that's what I'm keeping a positive mind about.
I go down the gym 3 times a week. We go kayaking, walking, and barbecues and all sorts of things like that, and it's been an absolutely great. But without something like this, I just wouldn't know what to do, because there's not that many units in all of the UK that can do what the Carpenter's Arms have done for me, and that has put me on the road to recovery.
And it's just been the best place I've ever been, and that they've done so much for me. When we walk with God, now it's a lot more stronger. I'm hearing from Him a lot more, got more confidence in myself. I know what I want with my future now.
I'm hoping, like, I've got a bit of a vision maybe in the future about setting up a online clothing store which incorporates all the Christian clothing labels and has them all under one roof. It's in its first stage, and I'm hoping at some point in the future I'll have a thriving business to speak of and get the items made all up from scratch. The costs in this country are pretty reasonable as well, but profit margin would be a lot larger, but that's when the business upscales. I've started with a very limited amount of funds, and I just wanted to start on a low amount of funds anyway, to show that it's possible with the right focus and with the right type of people that are willing to support you, and the Carpenter's Arms has got that.
But see, if you helped one of the lads who had been through our system here, he was going to start his own clothing business and he needed a computer, and you helped raise the money for that computer. Could you tell us a little bit more about that, please?
The police station was allocated a certain amount of money for the proceeds of crime, and it was up to each beat officer to decide on who was a deserving cause. And obviously I talked to my sergeant and told him about the good work that Carpenter's Arms was doing, and there was one particular chap by the name of Gavin who wanted to start a clothing business and he needed a computer, and we gave the money towards that.
This newly positioned modular structure is Jobs' Storehouse, which is the arm of the charity that distributes food parcels to the homeless and those who are struggling to get by on low incomes. In 2008, the charity was supplying food to about a dozen people a week, but within a few months, the figure had risen to 100. In 2009, more than 15,000 parcels were handed out. The new building was opened around a hog roast by the Deputy Mayor and Deputy Mayoress.
I help feed the hungry, and that my motto has always been is to feed the hungry and preach the gospel to them, you know, and try and bring people closer to the Lord and help them get out of the situation they're in. If we can work hand in hand with you, that's perfect.
Yeah.
You know, I'll give it my full support as much as I can.
A tremendous amount of work has been done here. They've brought a lot to this community. Opening the food store, sadly it's a thing that is getting more and more needed. But they've opened their doors to give out food parcels every week. I'd like to thank the businesses as well who have supported this. It takes an awful lot to get something like this off the ground. They've worked hard at it. What you bring to this community is a light at the end of the tunnel for a lot of people. So thank you very much. And the food store is open.
Oh, bless you.
It helps people to turn their lives around, and I think that's what comes, the caring side of it comes out.
The work you do is fantastic, you know, it's really appreciated by the community, I think, you know, especially what you got going on now with the food parcel as well, you know, I think it's quite unique.
Started off on small scale, but the way things are, present economic climate, it's grown and grown, and to be giving out the amount of food parcels to much needed families is again another fantastic achievement.
Today is the end product of 18 months ago.
And then the other activity which we're looking at today with the opening of Joseph's Storehouse has been developed alongside their work, and both of the concern for people with addiction problems and the concern for people who are so poor they can't feed themselves adequately has been recognised in the community.
And although the organisation is run highly competently and efficiently by the staff, it's the residents themselves that have supported each other as much as anyone, and the success, even in this relatively short time, is there for all to see and very impressive.
People are wary of the police because some of these guys have been in trouble before, but we show the human side of policing as well, and I've built up a really good relationship with Matt, and it's good to see that he's moved on now in his independent living really, and I say that's to do with you.
What is the view that the local police have of the Carpenter's Arms?
In my opinion, it's positive, especially the beat team. I've had nothing but praise from the beat team, and it's an important link between the community and the police.